Good morning and rise and shine, Sanitation Safety Squad. Professor Blender here reaching out to you. I welcome you to week 4 of the course. All right, students, our team, squad. All right, by the end of this week, we are halfway to home, to the mountaintop, to the stars and constellations. All right, provide you are halfway to home. We still got a long way to go. But now being the fact we're at that summit, that halfway point, we can see where we want to go. We get destination, the goal in mind, ambition, all right, the dream, all right, that checker flag, all right, it's out there, it's reachable, it's attainable. But right here, right now, all right, week 4 of 8, self-assessment time. Be honest with yourself, meaning what, Professor? Know where you are on the course. Where on your week basic 1, 2, 3, and now week 4 to-do list. Where on your basically, to me, attendance verifications. You're on the job train protocols, your chapter quizzes, your prep quizzes. All right, find out where you're at. If you like where you're at, maintain it, love it. All right, if you're playing catch up a little bit, come see my office. Pull me aside on a basic walk by you in Chef Pan's class. Call me, email me, whatever I can do. I'm here for you, shoulder to shoulder, hand in hand. Let's get up, let's get after this team, okay? Now, basically this week, a lot of chapters on your professor. 3 chapters this week, what's up with that? Chapters 6, 7, and 8. The circle of life of food begins, all right, today. Chapter 6, folks, on what, Professor? Purchasing and receiving. Purchasing, make sure we buy from reputable, licensed, permitted suppliers. Focus in on that, basically, team. Making sure who you do business with. All right, most likely, again, you might say, Professor, well, I can do business with such because he gives me such a good price. Okay, the price might be good for you, but making sure you buy from reputable supplier. Because when the basic health inspector comes in, they say, okay, you buy your shrimp from whom? All right, and they're going to make sure they look at the contract. They're going to do their own recon research on that basic purveyor, distributor of that shrimp. All right, if your Uncle Bob provides you basically, it's always shrimp, and he goes off basically to be on his 23-foot Sea Ray Cuddy cabin, puts all the shrimp in his Igloo Coleman cooler, puts in the back of his Chevy Caprice, and then drives it over to your restaurant, that's not reputable, that's not permitted to do so. That's just Uncle Bob being Uncle Bob. All right, find out making sure we do business in a professional way, team. All right, focus in on that. You never ever want to basically, to me, breach contract. All right, have your own license and permit as a restaurateur be suspended or have a fine because of it. All right, protect, protect, protect. All right, also in chapter 6, receiving. Make sure, all right, we're always receiving, checking things in. Weights, size, quantity, quality. All right, everything specs out to where you're liking. Remember, you're paying significant amount for everything. Do so in particular, making sure you get the most value from everything you're basically spending. All right, now there's 3 items I mentioned as always the videos as well that you're allowed to receive at 45 degrees, but we store with everything else at 41 degrees. Shell eggs, shellfish, all right, and more importantly, sometimes the dairy side of it, milk. All right, those are all questions always on the quiz and on the exam later semester. Remember, frozen food, frozen. Ice crystals on basically the outside, never on the inside. When you see ice crystals on the inside of a frozen package, that basically is time temperature abuse. How, Professor? Well, it was frozen once. All right, it got thawed out, and they try to refreeze it. Now it's got freezer burn written over it. Now it's out in particular. It's got no taste, no texture. It's going to be something along those lines, possibly most likely contaminated. Protect, guard against that. Again, ice crystals on the outside, never ever on the inside. All right, most likely, again, be careful on the base of the videos. You're allowed to reject. All right, Caesar gave you the thumbs up, thumbs down on anything that you don't like, anything that you don't want. But when you do that, make sure they can throw off your PAR system. All right, so if you throw basically, say you reject the iceberg lettuce because he looks so moldy, didn't look basically up to your specifications, what are you going to do to replace iceberg lettuce because you need it that night? All right, go right to romaine. All right, go basically to something where mixed greens, spring mix, whatever it may be. You got to know, you got to adapt, you got to evolve, team. All right, that's chapters always again 6. Going into 7 storage, making sure 6 inches off the floor. I focus in as always my bakers. All those bins that have all your salt, sugars, flours, everything. Everything is always labeled and a basic food grade basically container that's enclosed, tight fitting lids. Are more likely go it's pest proof, leaf proof, and very durable. All right. Also frozen fruit, make sure it's always again frozen. All right. Cold food, 41 degrees or below. Stored cold in the refrigerator. All right. Hot food, very rarely would you ever buy something hot, but nonetheless, if you do buy it hot, you buy it at 135 or above, and you store it at 135 or above. All right, dry storage again, 50 to 7 degrees in that dry storage area. All right, also making sure when you store something in particular, you want basically, to me, salads, vegetables, fruits, always on the top shelf. All right, as always in particular, anything that's raw, based upon the drawer temperatures from middle down to the bottom. If you have leftovers, those are as always again above all the raw food basically as well. Watch the videos in particular. I take you through my basically fridge, and I take you through the fridges. All right, basic here in the lab at Daytona State. All right, that's chapter 7. Chapter 8, preparation. Everything's about mise en place, making sure in your own bubble, in your own pod, you have clean hands, clean utensils, knife kit, you name it across the board. Everything must be pristine. Cleanliness is next to the guide list. Make sure you go hunt and gather all that you need, bring it back to your pod, and then you assemble, and then you get up, then you get after, and then you create with passion. All right, like you as always, again, you're going to eat and consume that meal you're cooking or prepping for yourself. All right, also, focusing on making sure when we do, I call the wash. Now the wash is when you have batter, like you said, chicken parm, as always again, or basically eggplant parm. You're gonna have 3 washes, all right? You're gonna have basically your egg wash, all right, you're gonna have your flour, and then in particular, you're gonna have some type of panko, breadcrumbs, something of that nature. Now, when you do all 3 washes, in particular for eggplant, you can't use the same batters, the same flour, or in particular, same egg wash for chicken and vice versa. You gotta make sure that that's your cross-contamination potentiality right there. All right, again, small batches, team. Small batches, it makes mistakes. You make small mistakes. You could fix it. All right, also, my bakers, when you pull eggs, what's that, Professor? Well, again, more likely your mise en place or bakers, they're going to say you need 2 dozen eggs for all these brownies, cookies, baked goods, you name it, across the board. But I don't want you cracking 1 egg after a time, 2 dozen eggs into the mixer. I want you to get small bowl, 4 eggs at a time. Why, Professor? Small bowl, small mistakes. Let's say you get crack an egg, some fragment gets in it from the shell. All right, now you can pick it out, you'll be good to go. But imagine doing that in a big mixer. Also, you might get a bloodied egg in there one time. You just always got to be careful. You always got to be cautious. All right, also in chapter 8, making sure we cool food down. Cool down a few ways. All right, Professor, get something big, cut into smaller pieces. Something liquid, soup-wise, shallow pans, ice paddles, you name it across the board. But making sure we bring it down on a gradual slacking it off. We just don't basically take it something hot, put it right in the fridge. If you put something hot right in the fridge, remember the internal temperature, everything in that fridge goes up. There's your time temperature abuse. Always protect, always guard against that, team. Listen, this is basically the circle of life of food. This is the first 3 phases, the first 3 steps. Every step is vitally important. Let's get up, let's get after it. Let's enjoy week this basically 4. I'm looking forward to working with you. Come see me if you need me. I wish you all the best health, happiness, and success. Thanks for registering the course again. Take good care of yourselves. Have a good team.